Scott held Elizabeth's hand tightly, his heart heavy. Little Nora, their daughter, tugged at his fatigues, her tiny hand disappearing in the camouflage fabric. "Be good for Mommy, okay, Pumpkin?" Scott knelt, meeting Nora's eyes. She nodded seriously, her brow furrowed in an echo of his own worry. Duty called. Scott was a soldier, his heart bound to his family, his oath sworn to his country. He loved Elizabeth and Nora with every fiber of his being, but he also carried the weight of responsibility for something greater than himself. The airport was a whirlwind of emotions. Scott hugged Elizabeth tight, whispering words of love and reassurance. Then, he was gone, the image of his family etched in his heart, a beacon guiding him through the unknown that lay ahead. Time blurred into a constant cycle of training, missions, and fleeting moments of rest. The desert sun beat down, mirroring the heat of longing in Scott's chest. Every night, he dreamt of home, of Elizabeth's loving smile and Nora's infectious laughter. Letters from Elizabeth were his lifeline, filled with details of their days, Nora's latest antics, and the unwavering love that resonated through every word. One letter arrived, thicker than usual. Scott's heart pounded as he recognized Elizabeth's familiar handwriting, this time with a new, shaky quality to it. As he read, a wave of disbelief washed over him. Elizabeth was pregnant. They had thought it was impossible, a cruel twist of fate after years of hoping for another child. But for now, he held the letter close, a tangible link to the family that was growing, a family he yearned to return to. The day Scott's deployment ended was the day he lived for. Every grueling workout, every sleepless night, every moment of danger had brought him closer to this. As the plane touched down on American soil, a wave of relief washed over him. He was home. The drive to the house was a blur. Familiar sights took on a new meaning, each one a reminder of what he almost lost and what he fought so hard to protect. As he pulled into the driveway, his breath caught in his throat. Elizabeth stood on the porch, her silhouette framed by the setting sun. But she wasn't alone. In her arms, she cradled a tiny bundle. "This is Jacqueline," Elizabeth said, her voice filled with wonder. "Our miracle baby." Scott stared down at the tiny face, framed by a shock of dark hair, so different from Nora's golden curls. Jacqueline slept soundly, oblivious to the whirlwind of emotions swirling around her. Carefully, Scott reached out, his large hand dwarfed by Jacqueline's delicate form. He traced a finger along her soft cheek, marveling at the perfection of her tiny features. A wave of love, so fierce it stole his breath, washed over him. This tiny human, his daughter, born in his absence, was a testament to the enduring power of love and hope. Elizabeth squeezed his hand, her eyes shining with understanding. "You were here," she whispered. Life quickly settled into a new kind of normal. The house, once quiet during the day, was now filled with the sounds of children's laughter and the pitter-patter of tiny feet. Scott cherished every moment. He bathed Jacqueline, marveling at her tiny fingers wrapped around his own. He read Nora bedtime stories, Jacqueline nestled in the crook of his arm. There were challenges, of course. Sleep was a luxury, and the transition back to civilian life had its bumps. But none of that mattered when he held Elizabeth close at night, the weight of her head on his chest a balm to his soul. In the quiet moments, when the world was asleep, Scott would sit by Jacqueline's crib, watching her breathe. And he knew with a certainty that went beyond words, that this, his family, his love, his home, was what made it all worthwhile.